Hey folks, Chris Irick, L&R Associates, manufacturer's rep based out of Hatfield, Pennsylvania. One of our great lines that we represent is TOTO. I'd like to highlight our TOTO Washlet today for you. What is a washlet, you may say? Well, for lack of a better term, a washlet, no, it's not a drinking fountain. No, it's not a place to go hang out. It's a bidet toilet seat. So, for lack of a better term, it's a bidet toilet seat, but TOTO dubs it as a washlet. So as you can see, on my approach here, this is our model S350E, which is actually a discontinued model, but I'm using it as a demo at this point. So they've been taken over by the 500, the S500E, and the S550E would take over the S300 and the S350E. So those will be the newer models. They had some updates that they brought to them, a little bit cleaner finish. The sensors are a little better in them, and they've also made more of an ergonomic remote for them as well. So, but it doesn't keep me from moving forward and showing you guys what these things actually do, because that's the main thing. I want to let you guys know what they do. So as you can see, as I approach the unit itself, the lid itself already lifted up. So that's one of the things that they do. That's one of the great features that on approach, it's going to lift the seat up, so it's going to be all ready for you. The other thing that you'll find is as soon as you go to sit down on this guy, this is going to be a nice warm seat here for you. So we have a seat warmer built into our toilet seat. Yes, it is a thing. They do have them. It has a seat warmer. It's just like getting into your car that you start up in the morning and have that seat warmer in your car, seat and back warmer. We have the same thing right here. It's going to keep your bottom nice and toasty as you sit down on a cold winter morning, and your feet are on that freezing cold floor. Your buns will be nice and toasty. So we do have a seat warmer. Again, everything is adjustable. So your temperature of your seat, you can adjust that right on the back side of the remote here. Gives you all your menu and settings, and you can adjust that. So what do they actually do? What is the feature? So the way our units work is you actually have to apply pressure to the seat. So you apply pressure to the seat. You could probably barely hear that, but there's a small fan that kicks on as the seat is engaged. So if somebody sits on it, I'm going to act as if somebody's sitting on it right now by using my hand to put a little bit of pressure on the seat so I can demonstrate this for you. So that little fan goes on, and you'll hear that. You may not be able to hear it on a video, but you will hear it in person. Right on the back side here, we have a small carbon filter, right? So this small carbon filter plugs into the back end here, and what happens is it takes all that air that's on the inside of the bowl and it runs it through this catalytic converter. So it actually helps to keep the air clean in the restroom. So that helps you, that helps out with, if you have company over or anything like that, and somebody's got to use the restroom, they might be a little bit more prone to doing what they have to do, knowing that there is a built-in carbon filter, so it's going to filter that air for you. In addition to that filter, there is a small filter on the side here. So this may get some lint or some things of that from being in the air, or maybe if there's some paper being used, which you shouldn't really use with a washlet, but if there is paper being used, you may get some buildup on this little filter here. So that filter can be changed if you notice any kind of odors or anything that are coming from the washlet, or some foul odors and things like that. That may be blocked up, so the carbon filter is not working as it should be. So again, went over the heated seat portion of it. So I guess we'll just we'll kick it right off. I have this set hooked up to a pump sprayer. Normally it would be teed into your cold water line at your supply to the toilet. So we have an adapter that goes right there. This hose right here goes from the washlet, threads onto the adapter, and then that adapter also accepts your toilet supply line to go to that, and then also would go to your that screws onto the bottom of the tank. So you have your toilet supply line, then our T that tees in which goes right to the bottom of your fill valve and then gives you a threaded connection for your washlet here. The other thing that you do need as well is a 115 volt GFI outlet. 115 volt GFI outlet within about 3 feet of the unit. Has to be a GFI because it is in a wet location and we don't want anybody to get zapped if this thing, you know, if there's any water that leaks on it or anything like that. You have to have it on a GFI. So a couple things that we have here. So on the top of our unit, we actually have a stop button. We have our, this is on our remote, we have our rear soft on-off button, our front wide on-off button, and then our dryer button, which is below that as well. And then down here at the bottom, we also have user 1, user 2. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this does have a user 1, user 2 setting. You can set it for his and hers, hers and hers, his and his, whatever floats your boat. Feel free to go ahead and do it. So you can have 2 user settings that are already programmed in here with your favorite temperature for the seat, temperature for the water, pressure, oscillating, pulsating, you name it, you got it. Put it in your user 1, user 2 settings. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to hit rear on off. And I did fail to mention, but normally what these things will do is they'll actually do a pre-mist in the bowl. So we use e-water, it's electrolyzed water. It's real big droplets, and what it does is it wets down the surface area of the china inside the bowl to keep from any kind of dirt, debris, or anything like that from sticking after use. Right now I do have it on the rear feature. I can put it on oscillating. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the video or not, but you can see that there's an oscillating feature, so that wand is telescoping in and outward, kind of give it a little bit of a scrubbing feature. And then we also have pulsation. So pulsing is actually going to give you bursts of water. So it'll give you a burst and not quite as hard, and then a burst and not quite as hard. Again, all these features you can adjust right on the side here, and there's an audible sound to it as you move it as well. So that was the pressure for the pulse. I can also move my positioning of the wand, make sure that it's hitting where I want to keep clean. So I'll push stop right now. The wand's going to retract back into the housing. It's actually going to clean itself off again with that e-water that we're using, and then it's going to be ready for that future use again. So if a woman was using this, they could put it on wide front, so it's going to give you a little bit of a wider pattern, and it's going to hit the front part of a woman. Again, you can adjust your pressure. You can also adjust your position. You can adjust your pulsation. You can also adjust your oscillating. Again, all those features are available, and you can do that right through the remote itself. So I hit stop. You're done doing your deed. Went through the washing process. Now we have a dryer. Yes, that's right, folks. We do. We have a dryer. So you hit the dryer feature. The trap door opens up. You can adjust your temperature setting for your dryer again, and it's going to dry your bum off for you. So keep everything nice and clean, and then dry you as well. You may need to use some paper, but you're really not supposed to use paper when you use this type of product. But I would say, at least in the beginning, you may want to use a little bit of paper. Just it takes some time to get used to it. So I hit the stop feature. It's going to shut off. If I let go of this guy right here, our nut light kicks back on, so that's on the side here. And all these functions are on the side as well. So if for some reason you have an issue with the remote, you can still do front and rear on and off cleansing. You're not going to have the adjustments that you would with the remote though. So you still have the functions on the side in case you do need them. I did fail to mention, for those guys, guys that are watching this video here, we also have another feature which is pretty cool. If I push the top of this button here on the remote, it actually gives it a lift. So there's no excuses, guys, for not putting the seat down again. Especially with this model right here, you push the button, you walk away, it's going to go right down. So this will automatically go down too. If I were to leave the area, this lid would go down after not picking somebody up in the area for such a while. So I'll quick show you real quick here. These are the actual settings here. So again, you have dryer, your seat temperature, your water temperature. You can go back to the menu here, and you can actually change some of the other auto functions as well as your temps. So again, you guys have any questions or anything, you need to know where to get them. We do have suppliers in the Eastern PA, Southern New Jersey, and Delaware market that we could hook you guys up with and get you guys squared away in this time of crisis, especially with lack of toilet paper. Don't be fooled by the knockoffs out there. Those guys, you know, you might be able to pick something up on Amazon or one of the other sites for, you know, real cheap. Just think about what you're getting. You know, those things carry a lot of liability. And when I say that, I'm particularly speaking to the fact that they are a valve that is teed into your water. So number one, you're just going to get cold water or ambient temperature water. These actually have a built-in water heater. It's an instantaneous water heater, so you could sit there for 5 minutes, you could sit there for 20 minutes. As long as you have water flowing through that, it's going to heat it up, and you're going to have some nice warm water to cleanse yourself with. Those other guys that are out there that's just a valve, you know, be wary. You know, it's going to be cold water, and you know, it may be ambient at first because it may be setting in the lines, and you know, maybe it's you know, 67 degrees, 70 degrees, whatever, you know, ambient temperature. However, the longer you use that, the colder it's going to get. Not to mention the fact that you don't have pulsation, you don't have oscillation. It's on or off. Basically, that's it. So you may have a little bit of a volume control there. The other thing you have to be worried about is, you know, your kids. If you have kids in the home or you have guests come over, you know, kids like to play with things. They like to push buttons and stuff like that. They can push buttons all day long on this remote, you know, saying front, rear, rear. And guess what? That seat's not going to work. It's not going to work unless somebody's actually physically sitting on it or somebody realizes that they have to put a hand on there or some pressure on it. These other ones, you turn a valve and it's going to shoot water. I mean, it'll just continue to spray like a water fountain, you know, till you come home, till somebody realizes it, and by then it may be too late. You got water that's dripping downstairs from the master bedroom or master bath downstairs into the living space, and next thing you know, you have all kinds of drywall or ceilings to replace and all that stuff. So it could be very, very devastating, to say the least. So again, the TOTO Washlet. Give us a call. Let us know what you need. 267-308-0500 is the main office, or reach out to your local sales rep, and we'd be happy to help you guys out. Thanks. Take care and be safe.